This
All right,
conference
Paul, we
will
ready to
now be
go?
recorded.
Hang on one second.
Uh-oh.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so we're good. Are we good to go? Dan?
I'm good.
All right, let's go. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law, I wish to state that on April 3rd, 2020, the notice of this meeting of the Upper Township Committee was posted on the official Township Bulletin Board, the Upper Township website, and the Town Hall foyer, mailed to the Cape May County Gazette, the Atlantic City Press, the Ocean City Sentinel Ledger, the Herald Times, and filed with the Township Clerk. Tonight's meeting is being audio recorded up until the closed session portion of this meeting and will be available on Upper Township's website. I hereby direct that this announcement made a part of the minutes of this meeting. I would ask all to rise for the salute to the flag. I actually got an outdoor flag. Let's see if I can make this work. Can you see the flag? All right, so let's try and do, I'm going to get seasick with everybody else, I guess. All right, can you see the flag?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to
Allegiance
the
flag
flag
of the
of the
United
United
States
States of America
to the republic for which it
which
stands,
stands
one
and
nation,
to the
under
republic
God,
for
indivisible, with liberty and
liberty
justice.
and justice. All right, Barbara, would you call the roll? And what I would see, you call the roll, and then I'll make a suggestion to everybody.
Mr. Barr,
Here.
Mr. Coggins,
Here.
Mr. Corson,
Present.
Mr. Young,
Here.
and Mayor Palumbo.
Here. I would suggest that everybody hit the green button to mute their lines if they're not talking. That way there won't be a lot of background noise. The green button's the one right in the middle with the microphone. At least that's what mine's showing.
Yeah, I don't see it.
All right. Well, we'll have to go with and see what happens.
We'll
All right.
wing it.
So would someone like to approve the minutes from the March 23rd meeting, 2020, the regular session meeting?
Motion to approve?
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Is there any corrections, omissions, deletions that anyone's aware of? Hearing none. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
and Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Motion is carried with all in favor.
All right. So let's go around and get some updates from everyone. Scott, are you on?
Yes, good evening, Mayor and committee members. I'll start out with a COVID-19 update from the New Jersey State Police Office of Emergency Management Regional Operation Intelligence Center. Worldwide total cases as of 12 noon today, we've got 1,289,380. In the United States, 337,971, and in New Jersey, positive cases 41,090. In Cape May County, as of noon today, we had 85 positive cases. It of course saddens me to have to report that we do have one death in Cape May County from complications associated with COVID-19 virus. And our deepest sympathies and prayers go out to the members of our Upper Township Fire District and EMS Division whose member have lost a loved one, and to immediate family members and friends of those who have passed here in Upper Township, in Cape May County, and across the state of New Jersey from COVID-19 virus. I just want to remind our residents here in Upper Township that over the past 5 weeks, we have seen our COVID-19 numbers gradually increase here in Cape May County and in Upper Township. We need every resident in Upper Township to do their part by staying home as much as possible and being vigilant about practicing social distancing. Please continue to follow the CDC guidelines on protecting yourself, family members, and coworkers from this very serious COVID-19 virus pandemic. We want to remind all of our residents that our Upper Township recreation areas, playgrounds, skate parks, and beaches are all closed due to the COVID-19 emergency. We ask that you do not frequent any of these areas during this emergency, and that you continue to stay home as mandated by Governor Murphy's executive order. Please continue to follow all federal, state, and county and local guidelines and orders on COVID-19 emergency. Under these emergency orders, the New Jersey State Police have full law enforcement powers to stop those who are not in compliance and issue summonses for those in violation during this emergency period. Tonight, as Emergency Management Coordinator for the Township of Upper and in consultation with Mayor Palumbo, Township Committee, and the Township Solicitor, I will be signing into effect a local disaster emergency proclamation which will now exist in Upper Township until rescinded or until which time the Governor of the State of New Jersey declares the COVID-19 emergency ended. This authorizes the proclamation of such orders, rules, and regulations as are necessary to meet the various problems which have or may be presented by such a disaster declaration. For additional
Can I interrupt
information,
for a second?
oh yes.
Can you please turn off the audio on your computer? It's giving us feedback.
Who?
Scott.
It's off. It's off.
Yeah, I think it may be the mayor. Have both his-
What?
It shows
Mayor,
when you're not
if you-
speaking, Rich,
Somebody has-
there's an echo.
I'm going to mute it and see what you think.
All right, go ahead, Scott.
Additionally, for additional information on COVID-19 mitigation, preparedness, and response can be found as usual on our website at www.uppertownship.com. And this information is updated on a daily basis with the latest information for you to practice and share regarding the COVID-19 virus. And then I just have two other additional things aside from COVID-19. One, I wanted to report that our new LED lights have been installed at Caldwell Park by Atlantic City Electric, and our new security cameras have been installed at Caldwell Park. And Mayor, that's all I have this evening.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Barbara Young, do you have anything for us this evening?
I just have a couple of things. One thing is previously there were poll worker training classes scheduled for this week here at Upper Township. Obviously, those have been canceled till further notice. I've had a couple of calls about that, so I just wanted to mention that. Also, I just wanted to mention that although we are manning our offices during the week, we will be closed. The foyer also will be closed this Friday in observance of Good Friday. But up until then, in the meantime, if anyone has any business taxes that they'd like to drop off or anything for the clerk's office or any other office, we do have the drop boxes out in the foyer, and feel free to use those. If anyone has questions about anything, feel free to call the Township Hall at 609-628-2011, and the extension for the clerk's office is 200. We can certainly try to answer any questions that you may have during this time. And other than that, that's it. That's all I have this evening, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Daniel, do you have anything for us?
Nothing at this time, but we do have a number of contract negotiation items and a personnel item for closed session. The contract negotiations are necessary because those contracts that are listed are expiring and need to be renewed before our next meeting.
Okay, Paul, how about you?
Thank you, Mayor. First, I just wanted to update the bulkhead work in Strathmere did start about a week ago Friday. They have completed probably 90% of the work on the Sumner Avenue bulkhead. They should be finished that one by the end of this week, and then they'll move to Putnam Avenue. We also did get a request from the property owner at 14 South Drive and Whittier Avenue in Strathmere. They're looking to do a proposed dredging project, and they're looking to, they need approval or co-signing of the DEP permit and a future possible license to work within the township right of way to slope the dredging from their property into in front of the right of way of Whittier Avenue.
Just to comment on that, Paul and I have had discussions, and I've also had discussions with the mayor. If the township wants to move forward with this, because the dredging is occurring on our extended right of way, which we have rights to under the DEP rules and other legal determinations, the DEP is asking us to be a co-permittee. There's liability. My understanding is that the spoils will be trucked. They may be trucked if they qualify as beach sand to part of our beach. So there may be a benefit to us. But on the other hand, we at least need an indemnification and insurance to make sure if there's any issues or accidents that from a liability standpoint, we are covered. I suggested to the professionals that are representing the property owner that a simple agreement could be prepared. Ordinarily, when we prepare agreements where we give people rights to use our property, we ask them to pay our costs or legal fees. I would suggest that if they can use the beach soil, perhaps we forego that. If they can use it for dredge, the dredge spoils can be used for beach fill, that we forego that if they put it on our beach. If not, it would be probably just a few $100s in cost that you would be asking the owner to pick up to prepare the documentation and the resolution.
I don't think that's unreasonable.
Anybody else?
Ed, you need to unmute your phone if you want.
No, if that's what we did in the past, I agree.
What we would need is just some type of a motion and a second and a vote that if the property owner wants to move forward under those circumstances, that we bring it back for a resolution of the township committee at the next meeting.
I will make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Barb?
Barb, can you call the roll?
Sorry, I had my thing muted. Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Motion is carried. All in favor.
Thank you. That's all I had this evening.
Paul, do you want to discuss a little bit about this grant that I noticed that you have sent out some emails saying that we're no longer going to pursue crosswalks or anything? I know that the New Jersey DOT asked you to have a reconsideration, but because of the residents' input, we're going to probably forego doing that.
Yeah, I sent an email to the committee and to several residents that have emailed me over the weekend, and I think you got copied on those, to let them know that, after we had, made a modification at the DOT's request, that I'll be sending a letter this week up to the DOT for going and requesting that grant be rescinded.
So, Dan, we don't need to do anything else because we had a previous, well, I guess it was 2 meetings ago, we had voted to not take the grant, right? So nothing further has to be done.
Nothing further needs to be done. In fact, it wasn't even before the township committee. It was just Paul was pursuing and going to talk to neighbors based upon conversations with the DOT. The neighbors obviously responded that they're not interested at all. You had already rescinded the grant previously.
Okay, great. So Paul, you said you were finished. So Barbara Ludi?
Good evening, Mayor. I have nothing to report this evening.
Thank you. Committeeman Coggins?
Nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Committeeman Young?
Yes, good evening, Mayor. Just one or two things. First, I'd like to compliment all the employees of the township, inside Township Hall, as well as all the public works workers on working under these conditions and doing a fantastic job on a streamlined crew and scheduling. So again, I don't think we thank them enough for what they are getting done here. Secondly, as everyone knows, we've had an issue with everybody jumping the fences and the gates at all of our facilities to get into the basketball courts. We've posted signs, big signs, telling them not permitted. What I've done is followed a little bit in Dennis Township's footsteps. 2 days ago, I posted on the Upper Township. You might be from Upper Township site. Seems to be the one that most of the residents are going on, and gave a warning to everyone and a reminder that the parks are closed. That we've done everything we can to secure it for the safety and health of all of our residents. Asked the parents to please step up and take the lead with their kids and keep them home, and gave them a warning that from this point on that I will be recommending that we issue summons to all kids that are called in the parks, as well as the parents. Ultimately, they're the ones that are responsible. The feedback I got on that was about 99% positive, and many, many thank yous for me going on and updating people to where we are, as well as some of the updates that I've been copying from other municipality sites and things as far as how things are going, phone numbers they can call, things like that. Again, Dennis Township, Seth Matalucci, the mayor, and Scott Turner, the deputy mayor, has done a stellar job with keeping their residents informed. And the compliments that they've received with very little negative feedback, I think is the way to go with this. So I took it on my own to do this. Again, the feedback
But
has been
Hobie,
very positive.
Hobie, if I can interrupt you,
Yeah, go ahead,
all
Rich.
that information is on our website.
I
And,
know. I know it is.
I mean, that's one of the things I was going to address. I mean, people keep saying, why don't we do what Dennis Township is? We have an unbelievable resource of information. As soon as you go on the Upper Township website, you just click COVID-19 information, and it literally states every letter that I've talked about, every OE that the governor has put out. It has a list of everything. And, I'm very hesitant to go on to other sites and do things. We have a very concise and very well-maintained website right now that addresses COVID-19.
Yeah, and I agree with you. We do. Unfortunately, the message was not getting out, and I think we're accepting a lot of liability without it
Mayor,
being out. So the Facebook site seemed to be the best place to address it. And again, it was a generic, just that we were asking the people to please follow the guidelines. And I've also stated that you can contact the township and so on if you have any questions. But it seemed to be well received. I'm not going to continue going on there and putting anything on there other than forward somebody asks questions, and I'll forward that to the proper channels. I just wanted to get the message out there. They're ignoring the signs. They're ignoring the closed gates, the locks. We barricaded the skateboard park. They took the bolts off, went through it anyway. We had to get a message out there that was clear and precise to them. They're not going on the website. Unfortunately, they're not doing that. So I thought we should attack it where we can attack it the best. Again, up to your guidance as far as how you want to handle it. That's why I brought it up tonight.
I did
But
see
it's
some
out there. And again, I know I went by Amanda's today. There was no kids in Amanda's park whatsoever.
I
And
did
when I
see
went
some
by
people.
Codwell, There was no kids in Codwell this afternoon when I went by. And that's the first time that that's happened. So,
I did see some people, Hobie, that took and posted links to our website and actually posted stuff from our website on Facebook. So
right.
people
I
were
saw
starting to
it.
get the message.
Yeah. But again, they weren't going to our website for the township to look at it. So, especially with these kids climbing 8 and 10-foot fences, the liability we were going to take on with this, if a kid got caught on the top of that fence and ripped himself open or did other bodily damage to himself, it needed to get out there. We told them, basically it's going to be a warning, but this is their one and only warning at this point. After that, they're going to receive summons and be held accountable for their actions. So after I did that, I'm backing off of it. The message is out there. It's clear. They've accepted it, and see where it goes. And
Right,
other than
but
that, that's all I have.
I still strongly stress that we have to start educating people to use the website. It's the sole source of all the information that pertains to the township and how we're handling things. It even includes daily updates from the county. So, I really am hesitant to do anything beyond what we're doing. We're following proper procedures in making sure that information is available on our website. I don't know how easy it is at www.uppertownship.com. And it has resources, it has links to go to, and it has everything. So, I would strongly suggest as you go on social media or whatever, that you suggest that folks start going onto the Upper Township website.
And I've done that. Unfortunately, I don't know why, Rich, but just the way they ignore the rules and the signs that are posted, they're not doing it. So, I just thought that was the best way to attack it. We got their attention, and now we can say from this point on, go ahead and look at the site. But they were not going to the site, and we put up signs that are 3x3 or bigger, that are specific and clear. They walk right past them. They jump the fence right past them. They're not doing what we think that they should do. So I took it one step further. So, but at this point, I'm backing off of it. I just wanted to get it out there clear. So,
Okay.
other than that, that's all I had.
All right. Deputy Mayor Barr.
Hey, I just want to reiterate what Hobie said earlier about our township employees. Again, as usual, they're doing a stellar job out there under the circumstances that we're dealing with, especially Chief Sampson and her crew, who has to go out, answer these calls for service every day. They're out there answering these calls 24/7 and are exposing themselves every day to what's going on with this crisis. So a hand to those that are in our rescue squads, our fire departments, our police departments. They're out there on the front line. I don't really like using the word front line, but they're out there every day, 24/7. And also, we have to give some credit to our township residents. Majority of our township residents are going along with the program. They're maintaining their social distance. I mean, you could go out grocery shopping every once in a while and you could see that people are paying attention, people are following the rules, but there's always going to be those that just aren't going to follow the rules. It's not going to happen to me. And, it's a tough thing, but I think majority of our people are going along with the program, and you got to give them credit for doing that. Again, Michelle, thanks for the job that your people are doing. And of course, we're always here in case you need anything. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you. Committeeman Corson.
Thank you, Rich. I just want to echo what Ed and Hobie said. Thank you to our EMS and all our first responders, fire companies, and all that. They're doing what they need to do. And the division of EMS, if anybody has any protective gear, gloves, masks, please reach out to them, and they will make effort to pick them up because we are getting resupplied a little at a time, but we will need this stuff. Hopefully not real soon. But Again, our public works guys, they've done a great job closing up the beaches, parks and all that. And it's sad, but it's a beautiful time of the year and everybody wants to be outside, and I understand that. Stay home and do yard work. That's all I have.
All right, I just have a couple of things. We kind of covered one of the items. There's been requests about, updates on COVID-19 and coming out with statements. And there's also been requests about individuals who may live in the township who's had COVID-19. There's an individual who's recovered. As Scott had said earlier, there's an individual that passed away. We will not publish personal information. There have been requests for where do they live, who is this person. That is a HIPAA violation, and we respect the family members and the person themselves who have been affected by the COVID-19 disease, and we will not publish anything of personal nature, especially where an individual lives or what street they live on, etc. So I just want to be very clear with that. And I can't stress enough, Scott and I and Paul and everyone out in Barbara, everyone in the Township Committee on our supervisory staff has been updating our website as needed with particular information they feel is of value to the Township residents. And I really would stress again, please, when people ask, say information is available. It's a running resource. It's updated daily. And all you have to do is go on any computer and do www.uppertownship.com. The top right as you get on, there's a click on a button that you hit right for COVID-19. So, please take advantage of that. I also wanted to, and I know my fellow committee members know this, as well as the staff, that I've been working closely with the Cape May County mayors. We've had conference calls over the past 3 weeks. The conference calls are arranged on a timely basis based on issues that arise. We anticipate having one again this week, probably Wednesday, although the official time hasn't been noted as yet. A lot of it's reactionary to executive orders that the governor is putting forth. But as information becomes available, we will make sure that information will go on the website. Also, and this is very difficult to work with, this is a very religious week upcoming for many folks. Many of the churches have reached out to us as to some suggestions that they have, for possibly having, some outdoor in the car activities. As much as I am very religious, I watched a streaming from my parish, St. Maximilian Colby, yesterday for Palm Sunday. We just have to be very careful, folks. I obviously, feel very uncomfortable telling, any pastor that they can't have a service, but I have strongly suggested that it's not a good idea, and I would hope that they would follow my lead. This is on top of everything else. If you've been watching the news, they think that this could be a very spiked week for that disease. And the last thing we want is for someone to go to a religious ceremony and pass on a disease that they may not have any symptoms and not realize that that they have COVID-19. So please ask your pastors. If there's anyone on the phone, please consider streaming. It really works. I know there's a lot of folks that are watching at least the streaming of the particular church that I belong to, my wife and I watched it yesterday, and I would strongly suggest that the churches do the same thing. This is not something that isn't serious. We have to make sure that we maintain vigilance to the social distancing and all the recommendations that the CDC has put in place.
Rich,
and so, go ahead.
Would it be possible for to also link that to our website, how people can get in contact with these churches for a religious service link.
I have no problem with that. This, we are a very religious community. And, if anyone's having a service to stream, I would think it's appropriate and a great idea to be able to do that.
Barbara, is there any way we can reach out to the clergy?
Absolutely.
Dan, are we okay
No.
doing that?
You're fine doing that, as long as you reach out to everybody in the town.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, I noticed that even in Strathmere, it was on Facebook, but they had the ringing of the bells, anything like that to show the appreciation of the very holy day that Easter is to a lot of folks, that it makes sense to be able to help facilitate this in any way we can without having active participation. There has been on the news, I'm sure everyone's seen it, some pastors have tried to defy, and go further, and folks unfortunately have gotten ill, and that's the last thing I want of anybody. So as uncomfortable as I am saying it, I strongly suggest that we recommend to everybody that they stream their ceremonies this year. Okay, so that's all I have. Let's get on to the resolutions. I'm looking at, I guess, I'm hoping that everyone's seeing the same. I'm seeing the agenda. Is everyone seeing the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Barbara, would you like to, well, let's talk about what we're going to do with the budget. I think there's going to be a motion to table it, but I'll turn it over to you.
I think you have to table it before you discuss that.
Okay.
This is an electronic meeting. It was originally noticed for a regular meeting, so we have to renotice the budget hearing for an electronic meeting, and that will be the April 27th meeting. So what I would ask you is for the public hearing and final adoption of ordinance 03-2020, that you, by motion, table that to the 27th meeting, the April 27th meeting.
Hey, do you
Dan,
need a
we
motion
actually,
to table?
I'd
there's
like to make a
two.
motion to
Go ahead.
table the public hearing and final adoption of ordinance number 3-2020, and also for the budget 2020 budget public hearing.
And that motion includes the fact that it'll be held at those items will be on the agenda, and the hearings will occur on the April 27, 2020 meeting.
That's correct.
I didn't see who made the second. Was that you, Curtis?
Was Ed?
Oh, Ed. Okay. Okay. All right, Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
and Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Motion is carried to table both ordinance number 3-2020 and the 2020 public hearing on the budget to April 27th, 2020. Okay, shall we move on to the resolutions?
Yes, please.
Item number 3, designating the first Thursday in May a day of prayer in Upper Township.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
All in favor? Item number 4, the written indoor air quality program, and accepting the written indoor air quality program and confirming the appointment of Paul E. Dietrich as air quality control officer in charge of compliance of the program pursuant to the PIOSH Indoor Air Quality Compliance Program order under NJAC 12-100-13.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Motion is carried. 5, authorizing a building and electrical permit fee refund for Vivint Solar for 27 Sea Sounds Avenue in Upper Township.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
yes,
Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Motion is carried. 6, authorizing the purchase of certain items through the Sourcewell National Cooperative Contract with funds from the 2019 Capital Improvement Bond Ordinance in the amount of $60,516.
Motion to authorize.
Second.
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
yes,
and Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
7, authorizing the purchase of a tide alert system in the amount of $14,046.38 from the 2019 Capital Improvement Bond Ordinance in the 2020 Emergency Management Operating Expenses budgetary line.
Before we vote on this, Scott, can you give us some background on this?
Yeah, this was a joint project between myself and Paul Dietrich. Paul has a lot more information than I do, but essentially the system provides for an alert warning capability as tidal changes occur over in the Strathmere area. It better provides a way to not only provide the public, but provide emergency management and also Paul as our engineer with respect to loss of sand and whatnot in a different nor'easter or hurricane events that we may have. But essentially, it is a digital system that provides an alert when the tides rise above certain levels. And Paul, I'll defer to you for anything more.
We'll be able to have that setup of email alerts, so when the tides get to certain levels, we'll be able to send email alerts to.
So
This
is
is
there
pure
monitor?
electronic. It's not something like CL has.
It is. It does have a tide flood gauge similar to this, but they have their system where the police station monitors it and then they control the alerts. This system will be an automatic alert system where once it gets to a certain level, it'll alert us that we'll be able to trigger an email to go out to the public, alerting them of flood waters.
Now, is there a mechanical component to this?
It's set off it's done by pressure and the hydrostatic pressure of the water. So there's no mechanical moving parts at that trip.
Is it going to work on Harbor Road too? Will we notify those people?
No, because Harbor Road we can notify. We usually use the tide gauge off of Ocean City, and that's where we can notify the residents off of Harbor Road based on the Ocean City Back Bay flood gauge.
And Kurt, we also utilize Code Red to do that as well, as you know. With,
Yes.
Matter of fact, for the recent moderate tidal flooding that was forecast just the other day, we put that notice out to not only Strathmere area, but we can regionalize those settings so that it goes out to just specific areas that could potentially incur that higher water levels.
Actually, it went to all of Upper Township because I believe I got one at my house.
You did get one because you're on that special data list because of public safety.
Okay.
So how would notification be made to the citizens?
Initially, it would be by email. We're looking into being able to tie it in so that we can email a Code Red message. That Code Red would then send out a message via the.
And Ed, they do have that capability. Code Red has the SMS and also, which is email, and then also text capability as well.
Okay.
Are there any recurring costs associated with this?
Yeah, It's essentially what enables that system to talk with the computers. There, it's essentially I think it was $20 a month cell phone dialer charge, and then an annual charge with those.
It's about $180 per month.
This also gives us a credit under the CRS program for a flood warning system.
Well, my personal opinion is probably money well spent.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Barbara, would you call the roll?
Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Motion is carried. 8, appointing Triad Advisory Services Incorporated to provide administrative services with regard to Upper Township Affordable Housing Program.
Move the resolution?
Second.
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
and Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Carried. Item number 9, closing the South Jersey Transportation Authority's hearing to discuss proposed toll increases for South Jersey.
Move the resolution?
Move the resolution. Second.
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
and Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Carried. 10, amending a prior authorization for the installation of a storm manhole replacement of a storm line through the bulkhead on Sumner Avenue in the amount of $16,875 with funds from the 2018 Capital Improvement Bond Ordinance and authorizing the installation of a storm manhole and replacement of a storm line through the bulkhead on Sumner Avenue in the amount of $25,000 with funds from the 2018 Capital Improvement Bond Ordinance.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Is carried. Item number 11, authorizing the engineer to prepare specifications and solicit bids for the purchase and installation of 2 pole barns.
Motion to approve?
Second. Are
Just
these,
before
are
you
these
vote,
are these for Public Works?
Yes, they are.
before you vote, just to clarify, the resolution indicates that Paul's not to take action until after the COVID-19 situation has ended.
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
and Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 12, we had a change to the title on item number 12 after the agenda was sent out and printed. So I'll just read what has changed here. The title of the resolution reads prohibiting transient, seasonal, and short-term rentals and online marketplaces, arranging or offering lodging in Upper Township, Cape May County, New Jersey.
Just some background information on this. This resolution essentially ratifies and confirms the action that Scott Morgan, as Emergency Management Coordinator, indicated earlier in the meeting he was taking It's my understanding Scott's signing the declaration of an emergency today, and he's also ordering that there'll be in the township a prohibition on transient, seasonal, and short-term rentals, as well as online marketplaces arranging or offering lodging in Upper. Those two items were permitted. One was about a week and a half ago. That's the online marketplace, and just this Saturday, and it was effective yesterday evening. The superintendent of the state police, who is the public health and emergency manager for the state, issued an administrative order indicating that the municipalities are permitted to enact these prohibitions.
Now, does it give any type of an expiration, a time limit?
The order that Scott's signing has it expire upon the expiration of the emergency orders of the governor.
Okay.
Dan, who's the enforcing agent on this?
It would be the state police. It actually, if you violate these orders, it's a disorderly persons offense under state statute, and it's a fine of up to $1,000.
All right, and who's going to determine? Who determines that the violation exists?
It would be the state police, just like a speeding ticket. If the state police finds a violation, they issue a citation, and it goes to municipal court.
Yeah, I think it's needed. We don't, knowing we don't have registrations or licensing for rental units or anything like that. It just, I don't know how we're going to enforce it other than a complaint from a neighbor.
Which is probably going to happen.
I hope so, Kurt. But I don't know. But it might be something we need to look at going down the road.
It also has a preventive effect once the public knows that it is a violation of the law to engage in this activity. Just the difference in the last 3 weeks of the number of out-of-state tags that are in our area is significant, and most of that is because it's been discouraged tremendously by state and local governments.
All right, another question I have on this. I'm understanding and talking to some of my friends and everything who live on the islands. Most of the out-of-state license plate are actually property owners, not short-term rentals. What do we do with the property owners?
We don't have the authority. We don't have the authority to stop them on a local level. That's not what the orders from the governor or the administrative order from the superintendent of state police indicate. So that would have to be a direct order by either the governor or the superintendent. However, if they are not sheltering in place and they are not abiding by the social distancing rules, they would be subject to disorderly persons offenses as well.
Okay.
So we need a motion for approval?
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
and Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Motion is carried with all in favor. Item number 13, authorizing the purchase of certain items in the amount of $100,728.60 from the 2019 capital improvement.
Motion to authorize.
Second.
Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
and Mayor Palumbo.
Yeah, my phone keeps going in and out.
Oh,
And it looks like we're losing people for whatever reason. Paul?
Motion is carried.
Well, my battery
Item
died. I
num-
plugged it in.
Item number 14, tax refund for block 453.02, lot 12.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Barr,
Yeah.
Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo? Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 15, refund EMS ambulance billing overpayment to United Healthcare Insurance Company.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
and Mayor
Be-
Palumbo. Dan?
Yes.
Before we move on to the next item, I just want to clarify something for the record. Paul, when the screen indicates someone has left the meeting, that's a voluntary action on their part. It's not that the system is kicking them off the meeting, correct?
That is correct. When most people that have left, it's been a member of the public.
Could you say that again? You're cut off.
It's been people from the public that have been leaving. None of the township committee members have left or any of the municipal officials.
Right, and it's voluntary, so when they leave
Correct.
the meeting. Correct.
Correct.
Okay, sorry, I just want to make that clear on the record because of the comment previously.
This item, item number 16, under ordinances, this is another ordinance that was noticed as being a public hearing, not in the electronic format. So this ordinance also will be tabled to the April 27th meeting. So this is ordinance number 4, 2020, and ordinance amending chapter 21, use of township facilities of the revised general ordinances of the township of Upper. We can have a motion to table this to the 27th meeting for the proper notice.
So moved.
Second.
Just to clarify, that will be renoticed for electronic purposes and then have an electronic hearing at the April 27th meeting.
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
and Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 17, under new business, Karen Gale requests a refund for her dog park permit fees.
Move we grant it.
Second.
Mayor, if I could make a comment before the vote's taken. I just would request in the motion that we, that they did receive a fob and that the fob has to be returned for the cost of the
Yes.
fob deducted from their cost of the dog permit fee refund.
They understand that they have to return the key card in order to get the refund. Yes.
Barbara Ludi, do you require for audit purposes a formal resolution for that refund?
Yes, we should have a formal resolution, please.
All right, we'll
I'll
place
make
that on
that
the
my
next
motion
agenda.
at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Move forward with a resolution at the next meeting. We have the payment of bills.
I hereby move that all claims submitted for payment at this meeting be approved and then incorporated into the full minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Coggins,
Yes.
Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
and Mayor Palumbo. Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Next, we have the report of the municipal departments.
of EMS, MUA report, and tax collector. All these reports will be available upon request. I'll tomorrow morning, although it's a little difficult, just request.
Second.
Sorry, I keep losing the line, but go ahead. Make a motion to accept the reports.
Mr.
Second.
Barr? Mr.
Yes.
Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corsi? Mr. Young?
Yes.
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo? Okay, I don't know if we lost the mayor.
No, I'm back. Yes. There's some. Let's see. I'll use my other phone. I don't know.
I can, no, you keep
Can you-
going out. It's doing off and on.
Yeah, so I don't know. It keeps muting on its own. I don't know why, but it was fine up until about like 2 minutes.
Okay.
Ed, I may ask you to run the public hearing or public meeting.
Ed, we're at the public comment portion of the meeting.
Can you hear Rich?
I can hear you, but it keeps going in and out for some reason.
Okay. All right, so
Well-
now we're at the public comment hearing. How do we're going to have to try to do this. I can see that we have a number of people from the public. And
What I
what
would
you're going to have
suggest,
to
Ed,
do is if you have anything to say, I'll tell you what, let's see if we could try to go in alphabetical order. And state your name and your address and what you have to say. So who's first at bat?
I'm probably first at bat. Can you hear me okay?
Gotcha.
Yes.
So hi, I'm Tom Bader. I live at 30 East Winthrop in Strathmere. And I'll be brief.
I hear crickets. There we go.
Is that any better?
Much better.
Great. So we've already addressed the principal reason why I joined you all. I was here in January, or I was with you in January to talk about Mr. Dietrich's proposed plan for safety improvements on Neptune Avenue. You all took the appropriate action. You listened to the public, you listened to Mr. Dietrich, and you made your decision. And then, unbeknownst at least to me and to any of my neighbors, Mr. Dietrich proceeded to continue his plan. And I don't know whether any of you were aware, and frankly, I'm not all that interested in finding out whether any of you were aware, but I really want to address two issues. Number one is I would like someone to assure me that this project is truly dead, because I left the meeting in January with your 4-0 vote, assuming or believing that the process had worked well. Local government works. You all listened to the residents, the people that voted for you, and you made the right decision. And then I find out without any notification that the project didn't die, it just morphed into something else. And one of the rationales behind that was that we didn't want the Department of Transportation of New Jersey to be unhappy. And so I would just like somebody to reassure me that this project is truly dead.
I can assure you this project's dead.
Is that the mayor? I'm sorry, it's hard for me to tell who's talking.
No, this is Curtis Corson.
Okay,
I'm naming
great.
Curtis Corson.
Okay, I'll take you at your word. Unfortunately, I do have to say that's kind of how I felt when I walked that way in January. But as long as we'll put it in the minutes, again, this project is truly dead. And then the second
Yeah,
thing is,
Mr.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Bader, I think what happened here, and I reassure you, yes, we're not going to go any further with this grant. However, my experience with the state of New Jersey and the Department of Transportation, these grants don't come along every once in a while, and I'm sure on the part of the Department of Transportation, they were trying to get through to Mr. Dietrich to, the importance of these grants. He was granted the money and to see if there was like a last ditch effort to go forward with this. But I can reassure you, that avenue is not going to be pursued any longer. And as you heard earlier, Mr. Dietrich will make notification to the Department of Transportation.
Okay, well, I'll trust you all again, and we'll leave it there. I think we should think about whether that's a good rationale for going against what the residents of the township citizens want and what the committee ordered, but you all can consider that separately. And then secondly, I do want to applaud all of your efforts around prevention of COVID infection and all the work. I'm so glad to hear that you're taking it as seriously as you are, and I appreciate and I want to echo your sentiment regarding the first responders, and them being out there for all of us, because it really is a dangerous time, and I just appreciate the effort that you're making. And I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that, and be healthy. Okay, next up. I would say it's probably Linda Bateman, right? Paul, any way we can confirm that everybody's hearing us?
I think they are hearing you. Ed.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
up to them whether they
it's
want-
cleared up a lot on my end. So, I mean, I heard Mr. Bader speak, so, I'm hoping that we can get some public input.
Do we have anybody else?
Was Linda on there, Ed? Because I didn't hear anything she said.
Yeah, Linda had signed on. I could see LB on
Well,
my screen.
unless they're not coming across, but I don't know if that could be. Paul, are you there? Paul.
I see Paul. I don't hear him.
I'm sorry. My computer had some technical difficulties, so it
Paul's the administrator. I think we wait and don't continue the public hearing until Paul confirms that the public can participate.
Okay.
I think I was just unmuted. This is Linda Bateman.
We can hear you loud and clear, Linda.
Yeah. Linda, before you start, this is Dan Young. Paul, I would like you to unmute everyone so they can, even if it gets difficult, we'll ask the only one person to speak. But I think we're having problems because you have muted the list of participants, and I don't want that to happen. They need to be able to speak if they want to.
okay, hang on.
You back on board, Rich?
Oh, I'm back on. I can hear loud and clear now. Yep.
You there, Linda?
Yes, I am. Blanche Adams technically is an A. She
Oh,
goes
that's
before me.
right, Blanche.
Hey.
That's because there you are. Okay.
This is Blanche, and I'm just listening. I have nothing to add tonight. Thank you, though,
All right,
for the
thank you,
opportunity.
Blanche.
You're welcome.
Paul, can you confirm that all participants are not muted?
Yeah, hang on a second. I can hear everybody, but I'm just trying to confirm something.
All right, we're not going to proceed until he can confirm that, please.
Okay.
And it looks like everything is fine, but I can't go and see it, hit the unmute all button, but everybody should have their own control because I did not mute anybody.
So everybody who's on the list and on the call should be able to talk.
Good.
Ed, do you want to see if anybody else wants to participate in the public portion?
We just heard from Blanche, Adam. Anybody else out there who wishes to make a comment? I believe Linda was on. Linda?
Hi, yes, I'm here. 14 East Tecumseh, Strathmere. I was excited to see Mr. Bader up there. I thought for a minute we finally had somebody from Strathmere on. No, I wanted to thank you all and thank especially Mayor Palumbo for being so accessible and helping to get the word out. We've definitely seen a decrease in people on the beach. There are always going to be people that, as you noted, but I think we should concentrate on the positive. I am concerned about what to do with people returning from Florida. As you know, a lot of people winter there and will be coming back. And I don't know that they necessarily have any guidelines or they just come back and open up their houses or what or how they should come back.
The municipality at this point can't address that by orders or restrictions. That would have to come either from the superintendent of the state police or from the governor in a new order.
Right now, there's a stay in place where most people traveling from Florida, unless they drive straight through, there's no hotel, nothing.
But they haven't addressed.
You were cutting out. I mean, not everybody owns a home in Florida. Many of them have, seasonal rentals and have to be out. So
I have to believe Florida is done, but New Jersey is done. Nobody can be evicted where it's done in New Jersey. I don't know about Florida.
Now, Linda, would these be residents returning? This is their primary residence?
I don't know who does what with their primary residence. I have spoken to a few people who said they have homes there, they're staying in place. But there are people whose lease or rental is up and they would normally be returning. And I can't begin to say that I've spoken to all of them.
Okay.
So they are to follow the state guidelines if I heard you correctly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now,
Well, I mean,
travel restrictions.
there is a recommendation that if you take a plane, that you have to self-quarantine if you come back from Florida to New Jersey. I believe it's like 7 to 14 days. So, I mean, that's something that I can bring up when we have our next, conference and mayor's call, just to see how the other towns are addressing it. But as Dan said, I mean, if people are property owners, it really makes it difficult to have any restriction because they have the same rights that everyone does, if you're a property owner. So although we would hope that they would follow the CDC recommendations and, shelter in place or stay where they are, I would hope that would continue because I'm sure there's a number of folks that live in, the greater Philadelphia or Cherry Hill area that come to Strathmere as well. And, hopefully they'll stay in place as well. I'm not sure what kind of jurisdiction any of us would have. And in the past, the governor has, that I have recalled, I don't want to speak for the governor, but what I've seen is that he's reluctant to stop, put anything out there that would restrict property owners from going to their properties.
Okay, thank you. I don't have anything else. Thanks.
Thank you, Linda.
Stay safe.
Thanks. Oh, and ironically, we did have the church chimes going last night. Everyone was supposed to go out on their decks, and then we also were simulcasting it on Facebook to everybody not here. The way the wind was blowing, the lower part of town couldn't hear it. You had much better seat at home in Pennsylvania or wherever you happen to be listening. So it was a good.
I saw it on Facebook. It was very nice event.
I saw it as well.
Yeah.
It was very soothing, and hopefully they'll continue.
Well, not for me. Everybody was calling and saying, did I miss it? What's happening? But yeah, I would love to see if we could keep it going, but it was a team effort. Thank you. Good night.
Do we have anybody else? Okay, how can we be reassured that everybody's heard us?
Paul, can you confirm that everybody's mic is on and not muted?
If they have their own mic muted, there's no way I can tell if they're
All right,
unmuted.
so
or not.
it's only if it's only if they decided to mute their mic. You didn't do it as an administrator, and as far as you can tell, everyone's mic is on from your point of view, correct? Could you say that again, Paul, please?
As far as I can tell, I don't have anybody muted.
That's what I'm asking for. I would suggest if someone, for some reason, not technically savvy and not sure if they had their mic muted on their device, if they wanted to participate and wanted to make public comment that and they weren't able to because of a technical glitch on their side with their mic, if that's the case, then I would suggest that they email or correspond to the clerk's office, and we will try to get whatever the comment that you intended to make addressed by the committee.
There was just a sign that says Paul left.
No, he's still on. If you look, that was his other. He came on a different device. He left with the other device. Paul, you're still there, right? Paul.
I lost Paul now.
Okay.
No, I lost him too.
I can see him.
Yeah, I see his picture, but no.
Oh, there he is. He popped up somewhere else.
I can't hear his audio. Now he's on two spots.
His mic's on, but I can't hear him though. I can see all the microphones.
So Dan, do you think it's safe to say we can move into a motion?
Well, I'd like to get Paul back on the line to find out if he knew or discovered what happened. So let's try and get him on the line.
I guess for the general public, I'll say that we will make sure that we fine tune this for the next meeting. It's obviously a new frontier for us, and we have been working feverishly to make it work, but there are some bugs, and obviously we have a few of them. So
I have to say, overall, it went pretty smoothly. We've all had our fair share of crazy conference calls these last couple of weeks. I think it went fine. Good night.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Mayor.
Good night. We logging out?
I think that was Mr.
You
Bader
got
that
audio,
made that
right?
comment.
What is it?
I just was
That was
making sure
Mr.
everybody
Bader that
can
made-
hear me. So we're good to log out and
Well,
log into
has
the.
Paul joined the meeting again?
Paul's back.
So we'll leave the public session open, and all the members, please log into the private meeting chat
Well, wait, we have to read the closure of the meeting, adjourn, and move into
Yes,
executive session.
John has to do the motion, but before we do that, just to be clear, Paul, I only heard part of what you said. Just to be clear, what we're doing is we're leaving this meeting open, and then we're going into a closed session in a different go-to-meeting room, and then we will return to this meeting to adjourn it. It's in all likelihood there won't be any action taken after, but we can't assure that based upon the discussions in closed session. So there may possibly be an action taken when we return back relating to one of the closed session items.
Correct.
So the meeting, if you want to remain in this meeting and wait for us to come back when we come out of closed session, you can do that. The meeting will remain open until we come back.
We're going to private or public meeting room?
Private.
Private, but John has to read the motion, please.
I hereby move that a resolution be incorporated into the minutes authorizing the Township Committee to enter into an executive session for the following matters pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. The matters are contract negotiation for Ancero IT Services, for CASA Payroll Services LLC, for Adams, Raymond, and Hagan Tax Maintenance Services, for Norman Briggs Special Legal Counsel, for WSP USA Incorporated Engineering Services, for W. Michael Bailey Safety Communications, and for personnel. I also include in my motion the estimated time and the circumstances under which the discussion in closed session can be disclosed to the public as follows. It is anticipated that the matter discussed in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Committee. The public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. With respect to employment and personnel matters, such discussions will be made public if a formal action is taken or when the individuals involved consent that it can be made public. With respect to contract negotiations, such matters will be made public when negotiations cease and there is no longer a reason for confidentiality.
Second.
Mr. Barr,
Yes.
Mr. Coggins,
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
All right. So you want us to leave? Well, we have to.
You
Are we-
leave this room,
Yes,
you
you
leave the
leave
public room and go into the private meeting room.
this
Oh,
meeting and
oh,
go into the private meeting room.
On top of my
Is any-
screen, there's an arrow that says everyone. Do you scroll that down?
Now you just need to leave that room.
There should be an arrow that
Hit the-
says leave meeting.
Hit the
when you
phone.
touch it.
What is it?
I'm on the laptop.
Yeah,
Right.
Obi, is there, you see the little phone, the little handset for the phone?
Yeah.
Just click that and it'll ask you if you want to leave the meeting.
Yes.
All right. Got it.
Paul, is this the private meeting?
Paul, can you hear me? I got my mic on, but I can't hear you, Paul. We're muted.
I'm on.
Okay,
I'm
I
here.
hear you.
I'm back on, Scott.
Okay, good.
I see John.
I'm here.
So
I'm
I
here.
guess we're all here. You guys can do the motion to come out of close and go in and adjourn the meeting.
I'd
All
like
right,
to make
I'll make a motion to go
to-
out of executive session and go into, to open session.
Second.
Can you call the roll?
We don't have Barb.
Here.
We need Barb. Let's wait till she gets on.
It said caller 8 just joined. Hobie just
We
joined.
lost Paul, I think.
You back,
Paul left
Kurt?
the room.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, I'm
Hi,
here.
Hobe.
Yeah, it's working
Okay,
again.
Barbara's here. Okay, now you want to make that motion again, please?
My computer
We'd
won't
like to
do
make a
it.
motion to go out of executive session and go into open session.
Second.
Would you call the roll?
Mr. Barr,
Here.
Mr. Coggins,
Here.
Yes.
Mr. Corson,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
here. Mayor Palumbo,
Yes.
motion carried.
I see you laughing, Eddie Bar. All right, well,
Somebody broke.
I'll
Comedy
make a
routine
motion,
here.
to adjourn the meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those
Mr.
in
Barr?
favor say aye.
Okay,
Aye.
Aye.
Or do you want an individual vote, Dan?
that's
That-
okay.
That's okay. There was no nays.
Okay. The
All
meeting's
right,
adjourned.
meeting adjourned, 9:42 PM.
Thank you.
Good job.
Good night,
All right.
everybody.
Rich, I'll be sending you
Good night.
those
Stay safe.
contracts. I'll send them by
Okay.
priority mail for you, okay?
All right.
I'll send, okay, great.
Good night.
So-
Good night.